Hi, my name is Mindy Green. This is my husband, Russell. We have been asked to record a message for this meeting today to be played to all of you surgeons. And I wanted to record our message with our family wall. This is my kids. These are our children that we have, so that you can know that you guys have, in your career, helped more than just us, that it was our family that you affected as well. We were asked to record this message. How we were found was I had done an interview with a reporter for the New York Times in the middle of my husband's journey with COVID, and it made the front page news. And since then we've had several articles done from different news agencies. And so if you want to go read that news article, just Google search Russell and Mindy Green, or Mindy Green or Russell Green with an E on the end, and it will pop up. You can read the article. We've been asked to share a little bit of our experience with you, and just let you know how grateful we are for what you guys do every day. So our family tested positive for COVID the end of June. We had not been vaccinated. That was my decision. I had read all kinds of information about the vaccine that was put out there, a lot of misinformation, and it really scared me. And I was more worried about the side effects from the vaccine than getting COVID itself. And obviously now when I look back, that's a decision that I greatly regret. Thank you. Because if I could go back in time, I would do it. And so now we do our best to try to spread the word to allow people to get vaccinated. During our time in the ICU, my husband got admitted on July 1st and was intubated 5 days later, and we were transferred to Utah Valley Hospital. And that, I want to say, was probably the beginning of our journey, though it started at American Fork, but that's when we had all of our ups and downs and collapsed lungs and every procedure that possibly could be done or has been done with COVID, my husband had done with him. He had 9 chest tubes from collapsed lungs. He had a tracheotomy done, and he had a life-saving surgery from Dr. McCann, a VATS surgery that ended up saving his life. I'll let him talk a little bit about his journey.
Okay, thank you. We were in the hospital for just over 12 weeks, which is a really long time. And of those 12 weeks, I was intubated for just about half of them, where I was asleep, coming in and out of consciousness. And even after I woke up, I was still in and out of a sleeping state. And as we went through this journey, as my wife mentioned, we had 9 chest tubes installed and a round of surgeries and kidney dialysis and all these medical procedures that ultimately saved my life. At one point, it was looking pretty grim. The chances that I was going to survive appeared to be very, very low. And Dr. McCann even told my friend who was at the hospital with me, you better call his wife and his 4 children if they want to see him again and say goodbye. You better have them come down. Well, when he walked into the room and told my friend that we've done everything we can as a medical staff, there's nothing else that we can think of that we can do, he's probably going to pass away tonight. My friend looked at Dr. McCann and said, well then, sir, we have a problem. Dr. McCann says, what's the problem? And he said, that man right there has been given a blessing that he's going to live. And everybody that knows you and knows him has prayed for you for guidance and direction. Dr. McCann then informed him that there was one other surgery, and he actually, his terms were it was a Hail Mary. And my friend says, what happens if we don't try the surgery? Dr. McCann says he's probably going to pass away tonight. My buddy says, okay, so what happens if we do the surgery? And he said he'll probably pass away during surgery, but let's try. So Dr. McCann, with his extensive knowledge and faith takes me back into surgery, and an 8-hour surgery was performed. As he comes walking out of surgery to give my family the update, this same friend of mine went up to him and said, "So how did it go?" Dr. McCann looks at him and says, "It went better than I expected." And my friend says, "Oh, really? What happened?" He goes, "Well, he's still alive." Ladies and gentlemen, I am alive for 2 reasons and 2 reasons only. The first reason is because of the priesthood of God and the power that it has. And the second reason is because a surgeon at Utah Valley Regional Medical Center decided to throw the Hail Mary pass that was caught. And I'm still here with my beautiful wife and my beautiful children. I cannot even begin to thank the medical staff at the hospital. All of the doctors, Dr. McCann, Dr. Perry, Dr. Licati, and I can go on with nurses and techs, and all those that literally came to my aid and we're now family. The ICU floor at the Utah Valley Hospital is now my family because we went through this journey together. And as I look back on my experience of the surgery and the ICU stay, it reminded me of a story that I heard a long time ago when I was younger, and I want to just read it real quick. It's called The Starfish Story, and it goes like this. One day a man was walking along the beach when he noticed a boy picking something up and gently throwing it into the ocean. Approaching the boy, he asked, "What are you doing?" The youth replied, "Throwing starfish back into the ocean. The surf is up and the tide is going out, and if I don't throw them back, they'll die." "Son," the man said, "don't you realize there are miles and miles of beach and hundreds of starfish? You can't possibly make a difference." After listening politely, the boy bent down, picked up another starfish and threw it back into the surf, then smiled at the man and said, "I just made a difference for that one." Ladies and gentlemen, you have made a difference for this starfish and for his family. And my wife still has a husband, and my 4 children still have a father. And it's because of you guys. It's because of your training, your confidence, your faith, and your willingness to sacrifice your own family to save somebody else's. Words cannot do justice. Tears flow continually out of gratitude. We cannot begin to thank you for what you have done for us and for others. You will forever have a place in our heart, and we will forever love and cherish those of you that do and continue to save lives as medical emergencies come up. So in our own small, short way, thank you again. And may God bless you for your service on behalf of his children.
As we were going through the surgery after my husband had his life-saving surgery from Dr. McCann, every single day Dr. McCann would come in, and it was day after day after day. And after about we're sorry to take up so much time, but after about a week or 2, I think, he was gone for like 1 or 2 days, and then he was back. And I said, "Dr. McCann, I sure hope that you took some time for yourself, because you are always here." As we were going through the journey, and Dr. McCann would come in, if he's listening to this, Dr. McCann, we love you, but he is a very serious person, and he tells you how it is. And when he would come into the room, I didn't dare ask him his thoughts on my husband because I was afraid he would tell me, and I didn't want to hear what he had to say. And finally, after a couple of days, I built up enough courage to ask him how my husband was doing, and he said, "He's just not doing very well." And I said, "Okay, but is he doing better today than he was yesterday?" And he said, "Well, yeah." And I said, "Okay, I'll take that." But in talking to my dear friend that was with us through this journey, we could tell that he carried the weight of the world on his shoulders. that every time he came in, that whether my husband got better or not fell to his responsibility. And you could tell by the way he carried himself. And I remember the first day that my husband got the speaking valve in and Dr. McCann walked in and he said, "Dr. McCann, would you like me to sing you a song?" And Dr. McCann just smiled, and he was so grateful that he was able to talk. And my husband said, contrary to popular belief, Dr. McCann does smile. And we shared that with him, and he said, well, sometimes you just have to have something to smile about. And that was a confirming thing to me that I knew he carried the weight of the world. And I know that so many of you do with your jobs. But I also want to add my gratitude to my husband's to personally thank you for your time, for the time that you put into your schooling, your education, for coming to the hospitals each day, for working with the people, because what you do truly makes a difference. And what was done for my husband in the hospital made it so that I could bring my husband home and we could be a family again. And I know that that's not always the case, and that there are people that as much as you do what you know to do, they just don't survive, and that's got to be difficult for you. But I want you to know that even in those cases, we appreciate you, and we appreciate what you do for our families and for the people out there. And we understand some of the frustrations that you feel, and we want you to know that on our behalf and on so many behalfs that didn't get the opportunity to thank you for the time and the effort that you put in saving lives. Have a wonderful day.
Love you guys. Thank you.
Bye.